Okay guys, before we get this thing started, here's a couple things I want you guys to know about this look right here. Number one, I was doing it at like 4:30 in the morning, like way before I'm supposed to record any of these videos because I couldn't sleep that night, and well, I just wanted to get this review out. And two, I made this face in the mirror, like all the positions of the mirror were a little out of whack, and I ended up making this TikTok face, you know, the one you've seen in all those TikToks. Okay, I think I've stalled for enough time. Let's just get on with the Kilroy video. Konnichiwa! Hannah Addison Saxoness! Hannah Saxon here, welcome back to the YouTube channel and this special 7th long-awaited sort of robot-themed episode of... Now, I'm not trying to come off as a weeb, but there's going to be bits and pieces of Japanese throughout this review because you know what I'm reviewing today. You saw the title. It's another particularly biased album among the populace. That's right, I'm a music reviewer taking a shot at Styx. Todd, I'm not sorry, I like this group. Kilroy Was Here is a concept album from 1983, and unfortunately it was the one that split off Dennis DeYoung from Styx. He is the lead singer and lead keyboardist at the time, but he let the other vocalists take a turn once in a while. But now I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the premise of this album. To paraphrase the liner notes, in the not-too-distant future... Next Sunday, AD. I love that show. But anyway, in the not-too-distant future, more majority groups against popular music of a faraway time, well, specifically the 80s, have made the rock genre obsolete and officially banned it. Japanese manufactured robots, called the Robotos, because of course, are serving jobs that were once taken up by humans. And the last rock artist and thriving star disguised himself as a Roboto to escape from prison after being convicted of murder. Namae wa Kilroy. And we are introduced to him in the first track, and one of the best songs on the album, Mr. Roboto. That's right, I said it. It's one of the best songs on the album. If you saw my 80s Guilty Pleasures list, you know that this song was #1. It begins with a synthesized ambience and a main motif representing the song, and then you heard the vocoder voices singing those famous 4 words, which can get so addictive in repetition, and then we launch into the song proper with... I am the modern man. I can explain. To quote Quora, apparently Dennis DeYoung got the katakana for modern wrong, slipped it up in the writing process, and just decided to roll with it. I'll link the article down in the description. But enough of that little slip. What about the other lyrics? Well, it's kind of a commentary on technology in the modern day, with a bit of having to mask who you really are for fear of what society might conceive you as. The line, "machines dehumanize," is actually pretty accurate to our relationship with the internet today. It's reduced our ability to convey our real thoughts and feelings. And I know I'm not one to talk because I'm part of Gen Z posting this on the internet, because I don't also want to come off as a geezer from the 2000s. Moving on. This is getting too awkward. I'm not a hero! I'm not the savior! Forget what you know! The extravagant speak-singing from Dennis DeYoung really structures the song. I know a lot of people, especially Tom in the Shadows, hate his voice, but I need to unmask my taste in music despite my overlying fear of the commenters. Maybe I'm alluding to the song, maybe I'm not, I don't know. Despite the haters, he really sells it as the cheesiest song of the decade it came from. Especially this scream right here. I'm not gonna do the excited squeal again. I already did that in my 80s video, so go watch that if you're curious about what happened. Then DeYoung jumps octaves after the next verse, belting out the dramatic reveal that he is, in fact, Robert Orrin Charles Kilroy, the embodiment of rock. Now, new listeners might not know who Kilroy is, but if they'd read the liner notes after buying a physical copy, be it on vinyl, cassette, or CD, they know. Or not, I don't even know. I know we just started, but Azure gives this a rare ranking of Itsuhoshi 5 stars out of 5. I'm sticking to English for the rankings now, so sorry about that. But anyway, track 2, Cold War. Does that guitar riff sound familiar to any of you? If so, let me know. And speaking of the guitar riff, it's so fun to groove or headbang along to, and the synth is equally as banging. The guitar solo later on sounds a bit tinny, but it's still good. Lyrically, this was written during the Cold War, and it's about how war should be a thing of the past. It's definitely relatable to the current political climate. And side note, how the heck did the 5th and 7th episode of this series delve into politics at different points? I mean, first we had Mosh on Encore, and now we have... I don't want to get any political on this show! It's a good song, but not very memorable, and that's why it gets a 3.5 out of 5. Track 3, Don't Let It End.
Don't let it end, baby, we could have so much more.
Todd may have put this as just another Styx ballad, but is it really? To me it kind of is, but if you look at it closely, it could be about the other characters trying to get Kilroy's love of music back into the mainstream consciousness. You see, he could be singing about rock music as opposed to a random woman that he fell in love with. In terms of production, it starts off with some 80s synth, typical for this album, but it is an 80s album, so who am I to complain? The tempo picks up by the chorus with its satisfying harmonies. DeYoung's high note transitions smoothly into the guitar solo, and the tambourine in the mid-chorus, it kind of slaps. Just makes you want to sing along and just wave a lighter around in the air. And it is the 80s after all, and I can't use a phone flashlight, so 4 out of 5. Track 4, High Time. It's high time we get into this song because, oh boy, this song is great! Okay, I gotta stop with this. Those drums and background chanting won me over on first listen. Now, since Styx is an arena rock band, this song evokes a bit of the stadium or an arena feel. The marching band trumpets really emphasize that later on. As for the lyrics, I can safely say that TV, or today's internet, does not provide the answers to every question we have. Also, does anyone want to tell Dennis DeYoung that rock has basically no radio or chart presence these days? It's basically dead at this point. I'm sorry. That was kind of out of line. Other than that, there's an infomercial-style narration to close off the song with a big band accompaniment, and some machine gun noises that were pulled off way better than Måneskin in their big hit. Yeah, I said it. Other than that, it gets a 4 out of 5 from Azure. Track 5, Heavy Metal Poisoning. Okay, can anyone decipher what the message is in that backwards clip? I'll pin the comment if you let me know. Dr. Righteous has taken over, and James Young pulls off the role pretty well. The song is a parody of televangelists and encourages the rebellious nature of teenagers of the time, standing against everything the so-called preachers declare. Along with a repetition of the sex and drugs and rock and roll sentiment, the children cheering is the cherry on top of the sundae. And that solo is the definition of rebellious. Seriously, if you look up rebel in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of Tommy Shaw. Okay, maybe not. But other than that, Heavy Metal Poisoning gets a 4.5 out of 5. Track 6, Just Get Through This Night. hear that? That is the sound of loneliness.
This could be the longest night in recorded history.
Along with those Middle Eastern digressions at the beginning, there's the accordion you just heard, a lonesome solo later on, and some beautiful glam rock OOOs. Lyrically, the song is about a night after a breakup. Sounds like a stereotypical love ballad, especially for Styx, but it kind of works. I mean, sure, the diction is poor some of the time, but I still have the lyrics in my liner note copy of the album. Speaking of which, it also ties into the story with the concept of jailed rebels. And with that, Azure gives it a 3.5 out of 5. It's not bad, but I'd say it's a bit uneventful. Track 7, Double Life. Wonder what this one's about. Yeah, thanks James Young. He's there whenever you need him. The production does sound stealthy and spy-like, almost as if we are leading a double life. With lines alluding to the Berlin Wall and the premise of two similar people living said double life, it kind of has a secret tone to it. I could honestly see it fitting in some kind of like spy game like Metal Gear or something. Unfortunately, it's kind of short, and in turn, there's not much to say about it. 3.5 out of 5. I know these descriptions of the songs are getting a little short, but I don't know what else to say about these songs because they're pretty uneventful now that I think about it. I don't really know what to say about them other than they're good. So let's just move on. Track 8, the penultimate track. Haven't we been here before?
And I believe if we learn from the past, we'd say, haven't we been here before?
History repeats itself, and reminiscing on the past can sometimes be bittersweet. That's what this track is about. It sounds a bit ahead of its time, like mid-90s, and the harmonies sound very 70s, but the combination of 3 decades also kind of works, just like Get Through This Night. The solo may copy the melody verbatim almost, but it sounds very heartwarming and heart-wrenching. The song overall is a great slow dance song, especially from Styx. They don't really do slow dance ballads that often. Lady is a big example of that. Unfortunately, that's on a different album. Also, this song has a very satisfying resolution.
And we'll be the ones who go on.
5 out of 5. Next to Mr. Roboto, this is also one of the best songs on the album. No questions asked. We finally get to the last track. Don't Let It End, Reprise. Reprise is an oddity for an album on this show, but since it's the last track of a concept album, I think I'm just going to let it slide and listen to it.
Don't let it end. Don't let it end. Don't let it end.
What a triumphant closure to Kilroy's story. It's kind of a strange mix of Don't Let It End and Mr. Roboto. It conveys a sense of rejoicing and victory with his optimistic outlook and proclamation on keeping rock alive. The guitar sounds amped, and the harmonies are amazing, as usual. And speaking of which, every vocalist in Styx get a chance to shine. And that's a great quality in this final track. Also, when I hear this victorious vibe, I just want to dance. Azure gives the final track a 4.5 out of 5. A bit too short, but a very satisfying ending. And with that, we finally end the highest ranked album on this show. Our first album to land in the amazing level has mostly high ranking tracks. I think the closest one we ever got to was the Star Trek and the Hitalia album, but my favorite tracks on Kilroy Was Here are Mr. Roboto and Haven't We Been Here Before, and if I had to pick a least favorite, it'd have to be Just Get Through This Night. So, this album tops those albums by a landslide. And until next time, domo arigato minna! Like and subscribe, hit the bell to stay updated, check out my games, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, DeviantArt, and Wattpad, and remember, when opportunity comes knocking 4 times, you know what to do. Kiyotsukete! Dennis!